First of all, thanks to organizers for invitation for this event. It's a pleasure for me and honor for my company to participate, to be here. So today I will give you a brief overview about practical BIM implementation in public company. So I represent a joint stock company, State Real Estate from the Republic of Latvia. We are the biggest property manager in the Latvia and also one of the biggest public procurers. We have three main directions, three main functions in our company. The development of state real estate, it's construction projects. Another one is a management, it's facility management and real estate during operation stage. And there is also a list of state delegated functions. For this moment, we have more than 100 ongoing projects. They are big projects. We call it development projects. It's different kind of buildings, mostly the office buildings, but we also have museums, theaters, cross-border infrastructure, and other projects. Exactly in these big projects, there is a new construction or total reconstruction, we use BIM. But we also have small projects or so-called maintenance projects, for example, facade renovation, refurbishment, etc. And we are working on new project idea development. Our BIM journey started in the end of 2018. There was one first pilot project, and now in 2023 we have 20 BIM projects for this moment. So, just practical examples about our projects and BIM use cases. In this slide, this is a historical building in the center of Riga. It's a very valuable historical building. Prosecutor's office is total reconstruction, including building structures, MEP, etc. So, and what is our role? So we are a public customer. We organize the process. We do not design, we do not construct. We provide technical specification and control of process. So we organize procurements and we control the contracts, and also we communicate with service providers. But we participate in all life cycle stages of buildings. So we are in the planning phase, in the design phase, in the construction phase, and also we ensure facility management. That's why we as a customer, we have a significant role in BIM project because we require use of BIM and require this valuable information. So what is our role? What are we doing in the project? So we should detail it BIM requirements. It's a detailed documentation about processes, about technical requirements. We put it in a contract and we put it in a tender documentation. We also prepare information about our building, providing laser scanning. We assess competency during procurement process. A little bit later, I will show you how we evaluate a possibility to work in a BIM environment. And after signing a contract, we also ensure information management and quality control. And what is our resources? How we do it? So we have a technical equipment, tools for coordination, for quality controls. It's also software for viewing of model. We have our own common data environment, and we have equipment for virtual reality and equipment for laser scanning process. We have established our own BIM division, a separate division, BIM Personal. We have this documentation. There will be also more detailed information, and there's a lot of planning things. For example, point cloud storage suite. So I would like to highlight that it's very important to ensure this quality control. So what does it mean in practice? Of course, we require from service providers, from engineering companies to for coordination or clash checks. But when we receive this model from the architects, from the engineers, we do this additional quality control on purpose to ensure the biggest quality of model. And one practical problem what was in the first projects is that there was BIM projects and there was drawings and they're like separately. So BIM model and design drawings are modeled by other teams, and it's not a correct approach, because BIM approach means that we create 3D information, and after that 3D information is base for drawings, for calculations, and other construction information. So the first problem was that some companies wanted to imitate BIM process. So they worked like an old approach, and they had some consultants who just created BIM after design. And if we do this way, we never get benefits from the BIM process, because BIM is a precise information. BIM is about increasing of quality of design. So that's why the correct way is to require this 3D, and after that comes 2D documentation. And also another practical issue to solve all the problems, all the mistakes during design process, and not to leave it to the construction scheme. Because in a simple word, BIM, it means that you first construct building in a computer, and after that you go to the construction site. So you evaluate, you solve all the problems, and after that you can start construction. So it's on purpose to reduce additional costs, and of course to implement construction more quick. Another use case, we also provide laser scanning. We have procured laser scanning equipment. It's a laser scanner and also software to work with point clouds. So we scan, mostly we have existing buildings, we have reconstruction. That's why we scan our buildings, and we give this information to design companies, to architects, and they use it like initial information to prepare a model. So it's a very precise information. You can create models based on laser scanning, and it's important in some old buildings. For example, this is screenshot from Riga Castle. It's also it's a building about 800 years. It's very old building, and its ceilings, it's very not typical configuration, and you never see it in a 2D documentation. But with this precise process with laser scanning, you can provide very, very good, very precise information. But there is another example. You can see situation comes from 2D plans. It's some old 2D plans of building, and there is 2D plans prepared from the laser scanning. And you can see the difference. And what is easier to work, for example, to architects with this precise and correct information, or it's some not up-to-date information. So it's a practical example how we can compare laser scanning approach and 2D drawings. But there are a lot of other use cases of laser scanning. For example, you can control progress of construction works. You can also evaluate if BIM models are similar to physical objects. So, and you can also digitalize existing assets. You can scan your existing building and put it to the 3D environment. You can modeling. You can create BIM models to existing buildings. It's also an option. Another use case is virtual reality. It's also in-house process. We have software. We have VR goggles. We have also computer with a high performance, and we use virtual reality on purpose to demonstrate our clients, our public institutions. We provide services for public sector, for government bodies, for public institutions, and we can show the final result. In the very beginning stage of the project, we can show what we will build, and it reduce the risk that, For example, some institution can require some changes during the construction work. It is more expensive, so that's why we can demonstrate this planned result of a project. And we also testing new technologies. It's augmented reality. It's on purpose to evaluate if the real physical object is according to the model, but you can also use it during facility management. You can see, for example, which asset where it's located, or some added information about these assets. So, what we need to achieve all of these use cases? We have developed BIM documentation. It was a significant step forward for our company. It is like, look, this document. It's a set of different PDFs for this moment. This document is based on international standards, ISO, British standards, and also of national experience of other countries. It's also made according with our own needs and the challenges. We want to implement projects faster and cheaper. So, and it's also based on national regulatory framework, so it's according to the legislation. Structure of document, we have a main document with business requirement, processes and technical requirements, and we have a list of annexes, for example, BIM execution plan. And how we use it in practice, so we have this detailed documentation, what we put in a tender document, and after that it became a part of a contract. And we also required, it's a classical BIM approach, that as an answer to our requirements, the service providers create a BIM execution plan. In this document, it's like an answer, and they write how they will work, about technical issues, about software, about schedule and others. So there are two documents during BIM process. Brief overview of content of this document. So the first part is the business requirements. It's some general information about BIM use in project lifecycle. It's also how we can evaluate competence during tender process, and also control points, milestones, and results to be achieved, and some legal aspects as well. Another big part of this document is information exchange requirements. It's about horizontal processes and procedures. For example, it's roles and responsibilities. So we need more specialists in BIM process. For example, BIM manager, BIM coordinator. It's templates for BIM execution plan. It's workflows during design process, workflows during construction process. Requirements for common data environment, as well as requirement for quality control. It's collaboration, it's coordination, and quality assessment. And the last part is technical requirements. There are more specific information. It's about software, about data exchange formats. For example, we require open BIM, so this means that we require original format and also open IFC format. And there's about file naming, also level of development for graphical information and non-graphical information. It's some requirements for other BIM deliverables, for example, 4D, 5D. It's also requirement for as-built model and as-information model. How we define BIM requirements? The main point is that you can use this document in different types of projects and different types of contracts. For example, in our practice, we use it in a design process, in a building process, during construction process. We use it in a FIDIC contracts. We can use it in an approach where it's design and build or design bid build. So there could be different cases. But of course, each project has this own specific concrete requirements, And there the template where you can put a level of, you can put specific information, specific requirements for concrete project. For example, level of definition, level of graphical, non-graphical information, other beam deliverables, deadlines, and other conditions, what depends of concrete projects, on concrete budget, and on concrete goals of the project. And this is example how it looks like when it's filled. So when it's ready for tender and it's ready for contract. And we also require a non-graphical, a lot of non-graphical information. Is all based of our own needs. So what information need our maintenance specialists. This is just an example what you can see in model. It's not a graphical information, it's just attributes or links to other documents. So you can see the doors, you can see windows and other information, and it's a big list of these possible attributes. You don't need to require all of it. It's based on your own needs. So is it like a template? You can fill and you can require only attributes you need during your process. For example, this is very valuable information for maintenance process. It's information about assets. So it's, for example, we can put information about manufacturer, about equipment price, so how much it costs, warranty start, warranty end, and other information, and also relative links for other documents like technical specifications or technical passport, etc. So there is a list for whole disciplines in design in all project where we require this information. Another challenge is how to evaluate the possibility to work in BIM environment during the tender process. In Latvia, we can't trust to the recommendations because there's different understanding what is BIM, and we are focused more on practical evaluation during procurement process, and we have developed 3 types of materials. It's a qualification questionnaire. It's about experience, previous experience of service provider. It's a BIM execution plan. It's like a technical offer. It's an answer to our requirements. And the last one, but not least, it's a sample models. Sample models, from my point of view, it's most valuable material because it shows in practice how we will work with this concrete service provider. So it's a part of most economically advantageous offer criteria. So what we require in these sample models. So it's just a small exam for service provider during tender process. So we require to produce small BIM models, very simple, but we require graphical information. We require it to all disciplines in concrete design. We require it in the native formats, IFC formats. There is a graphical information, just a simple object. Also to add non-graphical information and to create federated model from all these separate models. It's very easy, but and you can, if you have experience in BIM, you can create this in 10 minutes, but it shows a lot because it shows whether a concrete service provider has BIM software, it has understanding how to create federated model, it has a team, he has specialists, so it's like experiment how we will work after we sign the contract. So it's a practical evaluation of their skills. Some summary about this document. So it was fully developed in-house. No any other service providers were involved. It is referred to construction industry. So we share this documentation. We receive a lot of suggestions and we put it in the document. So we communicate with the construction industry. This document is publicly available for use. It's not only our document. Everyone in Latvia can go to our webpage and upload it and use it in their tender. We also provide consultations if there are some questions about practical issues. This document is like a live document. It's constantly being updated during best practice and changes in the industry and in technologies. And it's for this moment it's a mostly used document for BIM and public procurement in Latvia. And now it's planned that our BIM requirements will be developed like national BIM employee information requirement standards. And we also have an English version. It's available in our webpage. You can get more detailed information about this document. I suppose you will receive the slides after this event, so you can see it and you can get more information. So I also have a little bit information about about whole situation in Latvia. So if we speak about our requirements, it is planned that it will be national BIM requirements. So why we need it? So in Latvia we have a BIM roadmap. It's like a planning document. In Latvia, Ministry of Economics performs responsibility for construction sector, and this document, Latvian BIM Road, was developed by Ministry of Economics in collaboration with public and private sector. We also participated in this process, and our BIM requirement is part of BIM roadmap priorities to provide guidelines for public procurers. So for this moment, the main goal of Latvian BIM roadmap, it was a plan of different activities for 5 years, from 2020 to 2025. There was 16 activities. We can divide it in 3 parts. It's about regulation, about competence increasing, for example, some educational programs, and also monitoring and researches and sharing best practices. And for this moment, almost all activities are implemented, and there are some activities at the final phase. But the main point is that recently Ministry of Cabinets of Latvia approved that BIM is mandatory from 2025. This regulation is approved, and there are some conditions when BIM is mandatory. It's if there's a public finance, if it is a new construction and third group building. In Latvia, it means it's more than 6 floors, more than 1,000 square meters, and some other conditions. Some activities this year. So we also create a classification system. It's under development. There are some educational activities like training seminars, educational seminars, BIM hackathons, and others. And mostly recent BIM use cases in our country, it's modeling, coordination, creating 2 drawings from model, 4D planning, 4D simulation, and virtual reality. And the last topic of my presentation is about sustainability. We also developed another set of requirements. It's sustainable requirements for construction process. It consists of 4 parts. It's environmental aspects, resource aspects, social aspects, and process. And why I speak about it in the BIM conference, because we consider BIM like a part of sustainable approach for construction. So use of BIM in construction projects, it's an opportunity to use very precise information for calculating for different simulations. For example, we want to achieve a good air quality, acoustic quality, visual comfort, and other sustainability aspects. We want to reduce negative impact to the environment, and BIM provides a possibility to calculate, to simulate all the process. We can receive very precise data from BIM model and use it, for example, for preparing building life cycle assessment or about life cycle cost calculation. So in the end, I would like to give you information about whole situation. It's a big picture about BIM implementation in our company. So in this slide there are activities from previous years. So, as I said, we started our BIM journey in 2018. We started with learning, with exchange of experience, and with the pilot projects. So, in 2019, I just will highlight some more significant events. So, in next year, we procured BIM software, and we developed our own BIM requirements. In 2020, we also had some projects with BIM components, but this classical full cycle BIM project started after we put our BIM requirements in a procurement procedure. We also started to organize seminars to public procurers and sharing our experience. And we started full cycle BIM projects. We also provide this information management from customer side and the additional quality assessment. We developed in-house 3D laser scanning and virtual reality. 2022 there was released a new version of BIM requirements because it was updated according to our practical experience and also development of BIM technologies. We also translated our BIM requirements to English, so it's this last version was translated. And this year, also some activities. So we developed sustainability requirements. We developed automated quality control, established our own common data environment, and some new use cases. So we started to modeling in-house, and also we create our first asset information model also in-house. We scan construction process regularly, and we model and we create this asset information model, and we also started to use BIM in planning phase. But there's still a lot of things to do. So you can see that list of planning activities is bigger, and I can say that amount of topics of tasks is increasing every year, but we not use BIM because it just exists. We use it because we want to achieve concrete goals, we want to solve concrete problems, we want to improve the quality of design, and we want to reduce additional cost during the contract. This is our activities in every year, but I want to show you and explain the logic or the strategical view how we see this development of BIM process. So if the first stage was when we don't have any BIM, so the first step for us was to ensure the necessary resources for BIM projects. It's requirements, it's personal staff, and also IT solutions, software and hardware. And for this moment, I can say that we have full cycle BIM project. We have modeling in BIM environment. We have all this classical BIM approach. We use BIM during design process, during construction phase. And now we see that the next step forward will be to expand use of BIM to other colleagues. So we can receive more benefits from use of BIM if we integrate BIM to other process, to the project management process and to the technical supervision. For example, we can use 5D technologies, we can add financial data to the model, we can use BIM during construction process and evaluate the quality of the construction works. So there are a lot of new cases, and the second stage will be BIM-based information management and further development of process. So we use BIM. In the conclusion, I can say that we use it for efficient use of resources on purpose to optimize building life cycle cost, reduce negative impact to the environment, and also promote the use of innovation. So this is all from my side. Thank you for attention, and I will be happy to answer to your question now or maybe later in the coffee break. Thank you.